Janenba. Janenba is a demonic entity created out of the negative energy from Hell's soul cleansing machine. He is an amalgamation of centuries worth of misdeeds. Janemba is the main antagonist in Dragon Ball Z, Fusion Reborn, and he appears in several other Dragon Ball media. He is a powerful demon and the living definition of evil. Concept and creation. Janemba's name is likely a pun on Janenba, which means I don't like in French. Spelled, Janemba means evil thought wave. Janemba's original coloration was meant to be purple and white with red eyes. Interestingly, Janemba's appearance when transformed by Timebreaker magic in Xenoverse 2 appears similar to this original design. Janemba may be somewhat based off a Rakshasa, as his sword is sometimes referred to as Rakshasa's claw. Janemba was originally going to have a mini Goku and mini Vegeta perform fusion into Skinny Viku. Appearance. In the form he took by possessing the Sake demon, Janemba appears as a giant yellow obese monster. He has 4 holes on his belly that he uses to shoot his ki blasts and 2 holes on his shoulders. His legs and forearms are colored as a dull purple. His eye sclera are white and his eye irises and pupils are black. Being are completely rounded. He also has a large tail and 2 stubby toes. As Super Janemba he becomes smaller and human-sized. He gains yellow eye sclera, upper armor color being dull purple and his skin tone and tail is bright red. He also gains 2 dull purple curved horns on his head while gaining dull purple wristlets, pelvic armor, and ankle supports. The skull cap and horns of Super Janemba are that of the Frieza race head/hair type 16 option for the future warrior, suggesting Super Janemba's skull cap, horns, and possibly his tail are traits he acquired due to the influence of the evil from deceased members of the Frieza race. His pointy ears are a trait relatively common among demons. After being modified by Dr. Wheelo, his form resembles Super Janemba, though his armor is now black and gains more spikes on his shoulders and dark red lines on the sides of his face and body. Personality. Like many Dragon Ball villains, Janemba is a destructive and aggressive monster who seems to have little motivation other than sadistic pleasure and lust for anarchy. In his first form, he appears more childlike and innocent but becomes much less so in his second one. He is capable of using his power to alter the reality to his liking, with no regard for how it affects others, showing an obsessive need to control. If someone insults his magic, it becomes slightly weaker for a while and cracks, proving that his powers are deeply connected with his emotional state and that he is easily offended, which can be used during battle to unbalance him for a short time period. Biography. The evil energy which eventually manifested into Janemba had been gathering for generations and created a powerful evil heart. The evil energy that he was born from includes that of many humans. In Dragon Ball Z, Buu's Fury, King Yama tells Goku that Janemba was the kingpin of an organized crime syndicate in the demon realm before he came to Hell. His scouter profile in the game also states this, saying that the soul of the crime boss Janemba had just arrived in the soul cleansing machine and turned into a monster after taking over the Sake demon. Janemba begins to go on a chaotic, reality-warping rampage, leading to the events of Fusion Reborn. Film appearances. Fusion Reborn. Janemba is incarnated in the Otherworld into the Sake demon, a teenage ogre responsible for watching the soul cleansing machine when the latter slacks off and causes the cleanser to explode. The evil formed around the ogre, which mutates him into a giant, yellow, and childlike being who begins to turn Hell into his own paradise, which results in the inhabitants of Hell coming back to the living realm. Goku and Piccin are interrupted from their match in the Otherworld tournament to fight Janemba. Arriving at the check-in station, Piccin shouts at Janemba to turn things back to the way they were, but gets flicked instead for his effort, with Piccin saying that Janemba is stronger than he appears. Goku, excited to fight the behemoth, manages to lure Janemba after this, where they move down to Hell below. Piccin being left behind to free King Yama from the barrier that Janemba created around the check-in station, where he throws insults at it in order to get it to crack, though the process is slow. Placing his hand to the ground, Janemba creates multiple smaller versions of himself, though they were still much bigger than Goku, and they all swarm on Goku until he throws them all off and they vanish. Janemba proceeds to use a variety of strange abilities as well as performing surprisingly nimble physical attacks that Goku proves to have little to no answer for even as a Super Saiyan. With no other option, Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan 3. Janemba is pummeled by Goku's newfound might and is seemingly defeated. However, Janemba transforms into a smaller but much more powerful and fierce-looking form known as Super Janemba. Goku fights valiantly against the monster but loses the upper hand, thanks in part to Super Janemba's Bunkai teleport ability that allows him to avoid attacks. Super Janemba is able to give Goku added pressures after he forms the Dimension Sword and appears to defeat Goku before he is saved by Vegeta. Vegeta tries his hand at defeating the monster but fares no better, and it is Goku's turn to do the saving, where they flee and eventually decide to fuse together while Super Janemba searches for their location. After a failed attempt at fusing, Goku and Vegeta make a second attempt while Piccin shows up to try and buy them some time, though Janemba beats him with ease, only being troubled when Piccin insults him due to sharing the same weakness as the barrier. When Super Gogeta finally emerges, he utterly overpowers and destroys Super Janemba by purifying his pure evil energy and turning him back into the Sake Demon. Power. Films. Upon sensing the power of Janemba in his first form, Goku says that it is the strongest power he has ever felt. In his super form, Janemba manages to go toe-to-toe with both Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and eventually overpower them, but even after powering up is defeated by Super Saiyan Gogeta, the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. He manages to withstand a few blows from Gogeta, but is destroyed by his Stardust Breaker. His power over dimensions is capable of transforming the entire universe into his image, including the other world. He possesses great matter manipulation powers as well, able to pick up a club and alter its molecular structure, turning it into a sword. Aside from his power over dimensions and matter, he is also proved to be an accomplished martial artist, taking on both Goku and Vegeta in hand-to-hand combat and winning. In both forms, Janemba has a rather unusual weakness: he is physically hurt by insults. Whenever he or any of his constructions are insulted, he or it cracks slightly and shatters like glass. However, it is not enough to be useful against Janemba due to his powers of regeneration and stuns him only briefly. His constructs, such as the barrier around the Otherworld Station, however, do not regenerate. Abilities. Forms and transformations. Evil energy. Janemba is born from and maintained by evil energy. Evil energy appears as purple clouds. When enough evil energy clumps together or takes over a person, it takes on a physical body, becoming Janemba. As shown in the Shin Budokai games, if Janemba's physical body is destroyed, he will revert to his evil energy state until evil energy clumps together or a new host is found. Evil energy appears in places and planes of existence where Janemba goes, but if Janemba's physical form is destroyed by good energy, then all the released evil energy on that plane of existence will be destroyed. Janemba, pre-transformation. Janemba is Janemba's first shown form, called Janemba, pre-transformation, in Daisensha 6 and Daisensha 7, is chubby and extremely large. In the Funimation dub, this form is called Janemba. Janemba's intelligence also seems quite limited, the only word he knows how to say is his own name. This form is a result of Janemba's evil energy taking control of the Sake Demon. His attacks involve things such as creating miniature versions of himself and of Goku, creating dimensional portals, and shooting ki blasts from the 4 holes on his belly. Janemba also seems to be playful and not really trying, much like Majin Buu, which is used as a reference by Goku. You should feel proud of yourself, only Majin Buu has pushed me this far. Even in this base form, he, for the most part, managed to beat around Goku in both his normal and Super Saiyan forms. After causing immense destruction around him, he finally forces Goku to transform into his Super Saiyan 3 form. At this stage, Goku easily overpowers Janemba, smashing his head into his body. After being defeated, Janemba transforms. Super Janemba. Janemba is Janemba's second shown form and is called Janemba, post-transformation, in Daisensha 6, Janemba final form in Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 2, and Super Janemba in Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. The form is much more powerful than his previous one, being more structured for fighting and has the appearance similar to the Frieza race. Janemba reaches this stage after his head is caved into his torso from Goku's attack. He then proceeds to compress himself into a smaller space, resulting in this new form. This form is able to use a deconstruction/reconstruction teleportation known as the Bunkai Teleport, portals with which he can attack through, stretch his arm at lengths, turning objects into deadly weapons, project his opponent's own ki blasts back at them through portals. He wields a powerful sword capable of shooting unblockable ki out and strikes, though Vegeta, who arrived to help Goku, destroyed this sword. In this more powerful form, Janemba overpowers Goku even when he is at Super Saiyan 3. Even after Vegeta shows up, Janemba is still able to effortlessly overpower both of them. However, once they successfully fuse to form Gogeta, Janemba is unable to phase them with even his most powerful punches. In a short time, Janemba is defeated effortlessly by Gogeta with the Stardust Breaker technique, restoring the Sake Demon to his original state. Equipment. Dimension Sword and Ogre's Club transformed into Janemba's personal sword via matter manipulation. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.